Hello everybody and welcome back to the Fortress of Solitude. Today we're going to be talking about Absolute Wonder Woman issue 22, written by Kelly Thompson, with art by Dylan Snook, colors by Jordi Belair, and letters by Becca Carey. Diana's quest to rescue her mother heats up as in the underworld, Circe has been chained up over a raging ocean by SCYLLA. Diana knows that the monster hates her mother a lot, hence why she has strung her up, but she thought the being would be smarter than this, so she decides to remind SCYLLA why the gods are to be feared. Uttering a magic spell she imbues her sword with, she makes it grow in size before tossing another spell at Circe, binding their lives together, something Circe finds very interesting. Diana grabs her sword and confronts SCYLLA head-on, knowing the monster has been a legendary monster of the underworld for too long. Elsewhere in Area 41, SCYLLA continues to try and convince Barbara Ann to let them possess her, promising to answer any questions she has. Barbara knows that this is pointless, since how could she possibly confirm what they say is the truth, and the god only serves their own interests. SCYLLA doesn't like lying though, thinking it wouldn't serve them well, wanting to instead just talk about what she already knows to be true. The plant god shows Barbara that she is impressed with Wonder Woman, and has every right to be, but why can't Barb be impressive too, since she cannot just want a life where she is constantly following behind Diana, stuck in her shadow, and she should dream bigger. Thompson putting in the work with Barbara Ann here is great. I love it. It's fantastic. It's also a lot of character focused stuff that I reckon past cheaters never really had or never really came close to in their origins. And it's really interesting to see this slow grooming of sorts that SCYLLA is doing. It's playing on Barbara's insecurities when compared to Diana, as well as her natural curiosity to want to know more about this world of magic and gods. SCYLLA tells her to be her own god, one who can still be friends with Diana, but she'll be friends on a even level, demigod to demigod, not some brittle-boned human. Barbara still does not buy it, since the god left out another catch, since there's always a catch with these deals. SCYLLA says there isn't this time round, since usually he would tell her that the power is beyond her wildest dreams, but Barbara Ann is different, and she always has been, and this power is not beyond her wildest dreams, since she absolutely has imagined herself with the powers of an ancient god, and has prayed to be greater than what she is. SCYLLA doesn't want her to pretend that she hasn't thought about it, since her dreaming didn't begin when Wonder Woman showed up. She was well beyond that already. SCYLLA successfully manages to convince Barbara Ann with this, and the woman accepts the plant god's offer and immediately begins to horrifically transform into Cheetah. Now, we don't get to see the Cheetah here in this issue, but we've seen art of it. It was revealed, I think, at San Diego Comic-Con, and it is horrifying. It's a complete body horror nightmare fuel thing that we'll see in a couple of issues, and it's something I wouldn't expect anything less of for the Absolute Universe. The way this is going to bring Barb against Diana is so interesting, since Thompson managed to work in the jealousy Barbara Ann sometimes has for Diana and the type of woman she is really well. It's not the entire motivation for her taking the power, but it is a big part of it, and I'm so looking forward to how Thompson plays it out in the coming issues. Veronica Cale and her men, meanwhile, overhear Barbara's screams, finding that she has escaped containment and taken the previous cheetah's body with her, which makes me think, from what we saw of the art of what the cheetah looks like, I wonder if Barbara's body merged with the dead cheetah's body and it's like this weird amalgamation of both cheetahs. It would make sense for this universe, because that's absolutely horrifying to think of, but yeah, why else would she have taken the body? Cale sends her men to go and find her, as Wonder Woman meanwhile continues to battle SCYLLA in the underworld, telling the monster that it has a chance to free her mother, and if it doesn't accept the offer, her blade will do its job. The monster attacks again, answering Diana's offer, so she cuts one of its tentacles off. Luckily for Diana, she has some help from the Manticore, who followed Diana's suggestion and is helping her fight the SCYLLA. While the monster is distracted, Diana launches a spell at SCYLLA, hitting it in the back of the neck as it tosses the Manticore from the cliff, calling the beast foolish for being tricked by the witch's magic. Diana wanted the monster angry, and she got her wish as SCYLLA turns her attention back to the hero, who utters a magical word and lightning strikes SCYLLA on the head, where the red spell she threw at her before hit. Again, this just pisses SCYLLA off even more, and she tells Diana that the underworld have tolerated Wonder Woman for too long, and soon they'll celebrate her death. Diana blocks the monster's attacks with a star-shaped shield as Circe appears, having freed herself from the chains. The witch attacks SCYLLA, sealing the monster in a barrier and giving her a moment with her daughter. As the monster bashes at the barrier, unable to get through, Diana doesn't think that her mother will like what she did to get down there, and she is right. But Diana doesn't care, since no one is going to take her from her. Not Hades or the SCYLLA, and she will light their causes on fire if she has to, since if she cannot protect Circe, she doesn't deserve to be a champion at all. There is a bit of an interesting parallel here between Circe and Diana, and we are also seeing it in Diana and Barb's relationship, where one feels they can't live up to the stature of the other. In this case, Diana feels like her mother is so beyond her, and she's always trying to help and protect and live up to her expectations. And then we're seeing that with Barbara doing the exact same thing to Diana. It's kind of like a cycle repeating with Diana and Barbara Ann. Diana knows that she has made some big bets, but she is at peace with her choice. She slashes the monster's tentacles, but they hit Circe away, leaving her at the mercy of the SCYLLA, who tells Diana that killing both is just an added bonus. Diana warns SCYLLA that her and her mother's lives are magically bound, and killing one will kill the other, and while SCYLLA doesn't care, Hecate might have something to say, seeing as Diana is still her champion. SCYLLA goes in for a killing blow and is immediately blown back by a bright light as Hecate appears, telling SCYLLA that she told the monster she was not meant to kill Diana or keep Circe for herself. SCYLLA is angry since she isn't some lapdog of the gods, and does what she wants, but Hecate tells her to consider her next words carefully, since after all, she is the god of death and the crossroads, and she can make the SCYLLA's life a living hell. This is a really smart plan on Diana's part, and I love it's all based around a technicality, since technically, yeah, Hecate still wants Diana to be left alive, so if her and Circe's lives are bound together, then Hecate will have to keep Circe alive as well, something she doesn't really particularly want to do. It's really creative use of the gods' rules being used against them. SCYLLA slinks off into the darkness, and Hecate tells Diana that this was not a wise move, something Diana even agrees on. She tells the god to return them to the Wild Isle, since she has some work to do. Hecate begrudgingly does so, taking them back to their little ramshackle hut. Before leaving though, Circe tries to talk with Hecate, but the god doesn't want to hear it, since she will need her words to get Diana in line, wanting the witch to remind Wonder Woman of the cost of it all, and if she cannot, then maybe Hecate has chosen her mother poorly. Entering her home, Circe tells Diana that she is better than all of them, and if this is the path she chooses, then she trusts her daughter wholeheartedly. Diana doesn't think that she should, breaking down into tears as she reveals to Circe that it's all her fault, as she failed the Troika and their home burned as a result, and all her oldest friends were killed in the fire. She knows that they were the only things that she could love for the longest time, and they died because they knew her, and knowing her is dangerous. She fears for what will happen to Barbara Ann for the crime of being her friend as well. This arc has really been the most broken we've seen Wonder Woman since the start of the series, or since ever. She never really was this broken in this series. Usually she's so full of hope and can see a better way of doing things, but everything has just compounded in the last arc, and it's just worn her down, and it's made her trip a little bit. And I love we get to experience that here, where she's looking for guidance from a parent. She tells Circe that she feels lost and so angry, but Circe believes that she excels in anger. Diana thinks that she'll need some new weapons if she is to continue, and Circe is more than happy to oblige her daughter. Absolute Wonder Woman issue 22 was another fantastic character-centric issue that, much like 21, really focused heavily on Barbara Ann Minerva and her transformation into the hideous cheetah. The thought and detail that went into it and the reasonings behind her choice were really well done, and I really like the parallels being drawn between Diana and Circe, and then with Diana and Barbara Ann, and how Barbara Ann is looking up to Diana and Diana is looking up to her mother. It's a big cycle going on here. It's been so great getting to explore these new takes on familiar characters, and I cannot wait to see what Kelly Thompson does with them in the next big arc. I'm going to give this issue a 10 out of 10.